The book of Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall come, except there came a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashai, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashai, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashai, BAHASHAM, Vachakwadash, Call Halarimla, Allahayinawa, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashai, BAHASHAM, Vachakwadash. I also want to give double honors to all the elders and all the Akim out there that's preaching and teaching this word in truth and in sincerity, doing everything making calling and election sure. Shalom to y'all and y'all families. I also want to say shalom to all the Akim and the Akwatham out there that's receiving, learning, believing, and keeping the faith. Shalom to y'all and y'all families as well. It's the brother malakahmawan, back in the spirit once again, here to feed the lambs and the sheep of YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, and the Lord will his lessons edifying for the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel and the nation of Israel only. In today's lesson we're going into all must bow down to the beast, and this is a certain way that they're going to instruct and do that, going into the social credit system, man. So let's get into the article. Something they already got in place in China, in certain, having it in certain aspects of society, certain phases of society already rolled out in China, but it's something that is coming to Babylon very, very quickly as well within the next, months or years or so. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 2022 or late 2021, this is going to be on the scene in Babylon in certain phases, testing out with, certain interfaces and whatnot, in this country. And really what the social credit system is going into, that's basically a system that's set in place to give people rewards or benefits or punishment based off of their societal participation in regards to obedience to this structure and this system, and basically falling right in line, with the beast. But of course they're not going to tell you that, but that's what it's going into. And this also is another way they're going to try to get people to take the jab, and ultimately at the end of the day, it's going to be a way that they're trying to get people to take, the MLB, man, which is coming as well. But let's get into the article. It says China is in the process of expanding the social credit system that they have been rolling out in phases since 2014. Much like what we have for our financial credit ratings, China's social credit system attaches a positive point value to behavior that the government views as praiseworthy, showing integrity, responsibility, and or trustworthiness, and a negative point value for behavior that it wants to discourage. It's like the article said, just how it's with the credit system. If you don't pay your bills, if you late on payments, if you have bills and collections or whatnot, you're gonna get a negative credit rating. If you pay your bills on time, if you pay bills off, if you are paying off bills before the date that it's expected to be paid by, your credit score goes up. So they're implementing that same kind of structure in regards to people's behavior and obedience to whatever they say. In the article, like the article is going to go into, where it goes into, they're going to attach a certain value to you, a number of value to you based off of your willingness to participate in society, your willingness to be obedient to what the rules and regulations they're bringing on people in this society, your willingness to be advised by the medical staff of this society and not take things in your own consideration. You not think independently, and especially if you rely on a higher power, especially if that is the power of Israel, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. They're cracking down on that, and one of the ways they're doing that is through this social credit system. But let's continue. Bad behavior includes spending too much time playing video games, not caring for aging parents, poor driving, jaywalking, not paying one's debts, and of course criticizing the government. And that's the thing, right? That's the main key right there, is criticizing the government. That's gonna come in the form of social media outlets, on the streets, in your everyday life, talking with people. What the content that you consume on social media, this, that, and the third. They have, we all know that they can track us everywhere we go. They track us on our phones. They track us via these smart TVs, smartphones. They'll have tracking mechanisms. All these devices have RFID chips in them that are able to track, what a person consumes and what they speak on. They're listening in to conversations that you have and vice versa. I don't know if for some of you brothers, but I've been in the case of situation where I've been talking to brothers, just having a conversation with brothers, right? And the next day I see an ad online for that same thing that I was talking with that brother about that I hadn't looked up online before. Those are the kind of things that are going on in this society, and that's what they're going to use to crack down on people who basically they view as rebels to the system. People who especially people of the Lord, people, Jakes who fear the Lord, but also these, Edomite and other nation, quote unquote, truthers as well, who have some understanding about, the New World Order, the beast system and whatnot, especially these Christians who have some kind of understanding of the New World Order, the mark of the beast or the MOB, this beast system, the dragon being in relation to, Babylon and modern day Babylon, and the two heads being on the Republican and Democratic Party. Like Christians who have some kind of understanding on that, and of course us in the truth, we know that, but even people who are not in the truth but have some kind of understanding on that, they're cracking down on everything in regards to true information being published out there about the way that this society is headed into. Anyone who's exposing the agendas of the New World Order, they're going to crack down. That's why I titled this video "Almost Bow to the Beast," because this is a way that they're trying to get everyone to bow down to them. If they're trying to get everybody to submit to them, and they're basically trying to crack people under the pressure. They're trying to see what pressure, see who's really made of gold and who's not. And ultimately, it's BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI doing this on the left hand path to see if you're gonna crack or not, to see if you really that diamond, like the script, like the saying in the world, pressure bust pipes. You know what I'm saying? When that pressure is applied, see if you fold. So that's what they're trying to do. Really, like I said, it's BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI controlling that on the left hand path, and them as well trying to see who can be broken via them putting restrictions on you for a low social credit score. And that time is coming right now. All this other shit, all shit is bullshit. Playing video games, jaywalk. I'm sure they're gonna have some in regards to that, in terms of being lazy, not being a productive member of society, certain laws, laws in the world and things like that. But the ultimate thing is criticizing the government and the current government structure and speaking ill will against the beast system. That's ultimately what's going to plummet your social credit score and not allow you to have access to certain things in this society. This is coming very, very quickly to Babylon. But let's continue. Let's do what the enormity of this effort is impossible to overstate. Chinese companies and foreign companies authorized to do business in China collect massive amounts of data on Chinese people from their cell phone and internet use and turn it over to the Chinese government. You don't think they do the same thing here in Babylon, man? You're foolish, man. You're foolish if you don't think they do the same thing here in Babylon. They track everywhere you go. They got the 5G towers watching you when you go outside. This is the surveillance era, man. That don't think that just applies to crimes and catching people, who are doing shit against the law. Don't think it just applies to that, man. It applies to you in your everyday life. Because ultimately, if you are speaking against the beast system, you're speaking against the government factions of this society. You're speaking against international bankers and the top banking families of this society. Then they view you as breaking the law. They view you as a terrorist, and they can justify that via the Patriot Act. So they view you as a lawbreaker already. So you're no different ultimately from somebody who robs a bank or who's a rapist, or someone like that. In their eyes, in their court system, when all this starts to get revealed, you are no different in their eyes. If you are speaking against this beast system, they view you as a threat to society, because ultimately, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get everyone to submit to their system. So that's how Esau Edom works. Like I always say in my videos, Esau Edom wants you to pray and capitulate to your own demise. They're trying to get inside the minds of the people to beg for their downfall. Because how they're going to spin it is, well, this is a good way to get to track people who are child molesters and robbers and killers and rapists and all those crimes. They're gonna racist, and that's why they've been playing the whole race programming as well. With the George Floyd, the Breonna Taylor, the Black Lives Matter, all of that goes into this, man, to get a white supremacist and anti-Semites, all that shit, man. That's why they've been having those certain events come up recently. You know, those planned events. You know, with the George Floyd, the Breonna Taylor, both of those were rituals. The Deshaun Jackson and the Nick Cannon for the anti-Semitism. You know, programming that through the world so that people start to view that as such a negative thing, so that when they roll out the social credit system and are doxing people on their social credit report for being linked to that, everyone, the masses of people think that's a good thing. And in fact, this is actually something that's for your own demise. You know, let's get a precept. This is Psalm the 10th chapter, verse 4. The wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above, out of sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth up. He puffeth at them. He said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. I'm gonna go down. No, I'm gonna continue. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity, man. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in the den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. And that's the thing that they're doing right now, man. They're setting these systems in place to catch the poor, to catch the people of this society. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately everybody, they see everybody as goyim. You know what I'm saying? That's how these Caucasian Jews view everybody. But especially, you know, Jake. It's really Jacob's trouble, but everybody they view as some sort of goyim. Let's get a scripture on that in Sirach. I think it's in Sirach the 10th chapter. Let me see. Sirach 14:5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. And that's the thing. Like I was saying, they view everybody as going in a society. Everybody is everybody they view as you know, heathens. They view everybody as against you know, their societal structure. You know, they view everybody as a potential threat to their new world order system. So that's why they lie in that secret place, lurking, trying to set a trap, you know, for the poor, man. Set those snares for the poor. That's how they roll, and that's how they operate, man. Because they're always trying to, you know, put them in positions to thrive and be on top forever. So one of the ways they're gonna do that is by tricking the minds of the people to get them to beg for their own demise. That's how Esau Edom rolls, man. You know, he's not good to himself, so he's not going to be good to you. So he's that way to his own people. He's even more that way towards Jake, man. You know, that's why it's really Jacob's trouble. But going back to Psalm the 10th chapter, and one of the ways that they're using to implement that is this social credit system. And one of the traps that he's setting is getting people to fall in love or form some sort of liking to the social credit system via locking people up, getting quote unquote racist, you know, off the internet, and you know, people of that nature, locking people up for crimes and whatnot. You know, don't be surprised if there's a period of time where they start to say out in the media, via the social, man, we've locked up such and such who was about to, you know, have a mass murder, you know, who was about to, you know, have a mass homicide. You know, we caught him before, and he was able to execute his mission and all that, like all that bullshit, man. They're gonna be saying all of that to promote this, and that's what's gonna get people to fall in love and to form some sort of liking to this social credit system. But it's ultimately for your demise, man, because all he's doing is using this to get people in the mindset to capitulate to him, and ultimately get you to take the CHIP, man, which is gonna be your ass and your soul. That's ultimately what he's trying to do, you know, with this. Like I always say, all roads lead to the chip, man. It's inevitable. See, that's how you got to view everything Esau Edom is doing. It's setting up for the chip. But continuing on. Actually, that's it in this chapter right here. So let's go back to the article. Continuing on, it says dozens of government agencies share data and information with each other. Hundreds of millions of surveillance cameras watch Chinese people in cities across the country, with hundreds and of millions more to come. Advanced facial recognition technology and complex algorithms assist in determining the identity of those being surveilled in public places. And of course, there are informers, members of the local community who report the good and bad conduct of their neighbors and co-workers to the authorities. And that's the thing right there. Like, remember, a couple weeks back, it came out where Biden was basically saying how you need to basically report your family members and your friends who are quote unquote extremists, man. Basically, people who are disseminating what they call false information about the jab, about these certain agendas that are going on. Your quote unquote conspiracy theorists out there. That's what they're trying to put inside the minds of the people, to view everyone like that as a threat, to your public health and your public safety. So they got certain informers lying around, and that's coming to Babylon, man. They're gonna have. Don't be surprised if that's a member of your family. You know what I'm saying? If you a man of the Lord, and you got a member of your family that might try to turn you in, for some sort of cash incentive or social or more social credit, or a higher social credit score or whatnot, whatever it may be, whatever incentive they're gonna try to have. Don't be surprised if it's a member of your family or anyone that we know, because they're gonna be all around us, and they're gonna have them set up in places where there's a batch of people who they already have on their list. But don't get it twisted. They already got a list of people right now who they view as threats. That includes your so-called truthers, and of course, everyone in this truth. They got an identity on all of us. They know where all of us stay. They know where we all live. They know what we talk about behind the scenes. They have knowledge of the videos and the information, the truth that we share on social media platforms for all of you brothers out there. So don't be surprised if you have an informant they're gonna place around you in a certain area, tracking you down, man, trying to get you to capitulate to the, either try to break you and try to get you to capitulate to the system, or whatever it may be, or just throw you and lock you up, man. But let's get a precept. One of my favorite precepts. This is 2nd Ezra 16:70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So that's the thing right there. Like, there's going to be that great insurrection on those that fear the Lord. And that great insurrection is going to come in a variety of different ways. And one of the ways is going to be via the social credit system, man. When that you're gonna have informants to try to rat you out. You're gonna have for certain incentives in this society. You're gonna have FBI and UN soldiers and people like that. These super soldiers that they about to come with that have been training for this moment for years. You're gonna have them barging your house to take you out and things like that. Cause they gonna have a tap on everybody who either has a low social credit score, or who isn't even involved in the system. They're gonna have a tap on everybody who's in those two categories, man. And that's gonna be part of that great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Because if you fear the Lord, man, you ain't gonna have no high social credit score, because you're consistently preaching and prophesying the downfall of this society, man. You ain't gonna have no high social credit score, because the main what's the word I'm looking for? The main category that you're gonna have for a high social credit score is obedience to the beast. And if you fear the Lord, you ain't even gonna be in the category for a high social credit score. You ain't gonna have no social credit score. You have a negative social credit score. So they're gonna have a tap on everybody who falls in that category, and they're gonna know exactly where you stay, and they gonna come, with their troops and whatnot, break down doors and take you off to a FEMA camp, man. That's how it's gonna go down. And these are the times we're heading into right now, because like I said, it's one nation under the beast. The way they see it is if you a man of the Lord, you feel YAHAWASHI, you're a threat to other people getting that same knowledge that you have. Now you have more and more people getting that knowledge, and then everybody is going against the system. That's what they don't want. The biggest the biggest form of weaponry is in this book right here, this Bible. Um, let's get that in in Hebrews. I believe that's in Hebrews, the fourth chapter. Salakia. Yep, Hebrews fourth chapter, 12th verse. Should have just I should have just went there. Yep, Hebrews 4:12. For the word of Yahweh is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even the dividing asunder of soul and spirit and the joint of and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. And that's the thing right there is this word is a powerful two-edged sword, man. There's power, and there's might that comes with understanding this word, man. And that's what they don't want. They don't want more Jakes getting understanding of who we are and then causing them to buck up against the system, be against this place, be against this system, because that's less people they can mark for destruction via the chip, man. They can't take down the Most High, and it's prophesied that they're not going to take down the Most High, and they understand that. So they're trying to get the Most High's people via that jab and ultimately that MLB. But so that they view everybody who's preaching the word of YAHAWASHI as a threat. They want to extradite you, and execute you immediately, from this society, as quick as they possibly can from this society, so that you don't, in their minds, taint the minds of the sheep. You don't enlighten them to what to proper understanding, and then they start to have the same mindset as you. Next thing you know, you got a lot of Jakes with that similar mindset of knowing who our power is and knowing that we shouldn't be entangled in this world. And then they don't have no one to jab up and to chip up, man. Well, of course, we know that 2/3, it's prophesied that 2/3 of our people aren't going to make it anyway, but they're afraid of that. They're afraid of massive Jake waking up in these latter days. That's why they're putting those certain restrictions online, and you see Facebook and Twitter talking about, hate speech online and finding people for hate speech and whatnot, because they're trying to stop this word, from getting out, because they know how powerful of a sword it is, man. They know that it pierces them. This word pierces them, and it cuts them down, and it reveals who they actually and truly are, and they don't want that understanding and knowledge getting out to Jake out there in the world, man. But continuing on, eventually every Chinese citizen over a certain age will have a social credit score. The consequences of a low credit score are serious. Those with low scores are blacklisted and denied travel benefits, including access to visas or even the ability to buy plane or train tickets. They can be denied employment or promotions at work. Their children can be denied access to the best schools and universities. Their names and faces are often placed prominently on public billboards to name and shame them. And that's the thing right there. That's that persecution, upon you being a follower of YAHAWASHI, not having access to society, having to be comfortable being uncomfortable, what I'm saying, having to remove yourself and strip yourself from access to this world and so-called benefits from this world, what I'm saying, having to completely lose faith and lose trust in this world, man. And that's ultimately what we should be doing anyway, but it's going to be forced upon you if you have a low credit score. You know what I'm saying? Basically, if you choose not to bow down, to the beast, man. Let's get a precept. This is 2 Timothy, 3rd chapter, and the 12th verse. Yea, and all that will salat. Yea, and all that will live godly in Hamashiach Yahawashi shall suffer persecution. And that's the thing. If we live godly in Hamashiach Yahawashi, man, we following after these laws, statutes, commandments. We speaking down against this system. We not entangling ourselves with this world. We're not going in the way that they want us to go into. Taking the jab, taking the chip, this, that, and the third. We're not actively trying to participate or have hope in this society. We're gonna have to face that persecution, man, and that's gonna come in the form of not having societal access, and you're gonna have to be okay with that and rely on the Lord and have faith that the Lord is gonna get you through in that day. And that's when they're trying to use this to see if that pressure being that's gonna be applied can can burst people, man. And on you know, it is gonna be for some. Everybody ain't gonna make it. We just gotta pray, Lord, will we stay in the right spirit. But continuing on, verse 13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived, and they're going to be deceiving more and more people. But ultimately, it's them being deceived because they're thinking that they're advancing their society, but little do they know YAHAWASHI is for to come back shortly after this, shortly to come in this society, and after they implement their social credit system and all the other systems they're going to have in place. But we focus on that for this video. But when they implement all these systems, little do they know YAHAWASHI is coming back, and then he's going to raise up the elect, and we're going to strike them down, man. You know. So they're really deceiving themselves, you know what I'm saying? But they're also deceiving people. So you're gonna have people out there, you know, who that's what they're trying to do. That's ultimately why they're setting this society. They set up the systems they set and the rituals they have set in place. Is really to deceive people into thinking that this is a good thing for you. You know, like I said earlier, don't be surprised that they have certain events or certain reports, news stories or whatnot, about how the social credit system stopped somebody from committing a mass shooting. That kind of stuff is about to come more and more in the society. But going back to verse 12, we're gonna have to suffer that persecution as followers of Hamashiach YAHAWASHI, man. Like it says, the consequences are serious. You know, it's coming. All hell's finna break loose. You know, and that time of trouble is at hand. That great tribulation is surely at hand, man. Let's there's a point in this article I wanted to get right here. Okay, here we go. However, Americans should not just shrug off these oppressive initiatives as something that could only happen for China. For one thing, a significant amount of surveillance technology used by China's communist government was developed and provided by American companies. These are names that we should know and recognize, including Seagate, Intel, and HP Inc., among others. If technology can be used there, it can be used here for the same purposes. So they're letting you know right now, man, this is coming to Babylon, man. You know that the whole world is gonna feel it, but especially Babylon. All the social credit system, you know, and the setup of the social credit system, you know, what's coming, man. If you know, all nations all must bow down to the beast. It's Revelation 13:11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns and spake like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Those two horns, being in reference to the Republican and Democratic Party. That beast being Babylon, and he's speaking as a dragon, meaning he's speaking to deceive, man. Dragon is synonymous with the serpent. The serpent beguiled and deceived Eve. You know, the serpent is doing the same thing in this society, man. With Eve being a representation of the faithless, he's gonna deceive the faithless. Salat, deceive the faithless in this day as well, man. You know, that's why he's speaking as a dragon, as a deceiver, as a serpent. You know, and that's what he's doing right here. With the social credit system, trying to give you the incentives, tell you all the benefits of it, but not telling you how they're just using that as a gateway to get you to mark your soul for destruction via the MLB. They ain't gonna tell you that though. They ain't gonna tell you that they're gonna have crisis actors come out and say how, you know, they found somebody. These crisis actor informants that are gonna come out and say, oh, I've reported this person. And that stopped them from, you know, from robbing this bank and taking and shooting 5 people and whatnot and killing the community. It's going and they're gonna use mass deception, you know, to convince the minds of the people that this is actually a good thing for you. But continuing on, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And that first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, I mean, that's going into the Greek Empire and the Roman Empire, man. You know, and because all this is, like it says, whose deadly wound was healed. All this is the Roman Empire revived, man. All this is the Roman Empire reverberated, reincarnated. You know what I'm saying? Revved up, whatever term you want to use. That's all this is, man. That's all that this current beast is, because you're worshiping the first beast. You're taking after the first beast. You know, when you go into the to the dream of Nebuchadnezzar and that statue, you know, Babylon is likened unto the beast. This current societal structure that we in right now is like, I mean, it's like unto the feet, and the feet holds up the body, man. Meaning it has all the properties and is the structure for holding up for holding up all the systems in your body in place, man. Same thing with Babylon. Babylon is one of Babylon's purposes and roles is to hold up every practice, all the practice, all the beasts, you know, laid up before it, man. And that's what it's doing right now. But let's go down to verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the beast, image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And that's the thing. If you don't worship the image of the beast, man, you know, you're ultimately gonna, you know, have to suffer, you know, persecution, man. And whether the form of you might actually die, you know what I'm saying, you might be a martyr for this truth, or you're gonna have to, you know, be proverbially killed, you know what I'm saying, be proverbially persecuted by having your access to the society stripped away from you, you know, and everything that can come with that, you know what I'm saying. So, you know, basically they want it's clear as day. They want everybody to bow down to the beast. It's one nation under the beast. And that's the thing too. They tell you in school, like when you stand for the national anthem and shit, you know, one nation under God. But their God, their God is the beast, man. Their God is the Baphomet, Baal, Pan, whatever you want to call it, the T God. If you know what I'm saying with T, you know what I'm saying, the last alphabet letter in the phrase that starts with L, you know, the T God, that's their God, man. The God of deception. You know, that's bringing all these wicked devices to pass. That's who they want you to worship, and that's who they want you, you know, to bow down to. And anybody who doesn't bow down to that God is considered a threat. You know, and ultimately the mark of you doing that is by you taking the symbol that you worship this God, being the MLB, and ultimately on a lower level that you worship Esau, Edom as well, who is the physical representation of that God. And part of how they're gonna get that done is via this social credit system, because a lot of people are gonna be in shock, you know, and a lot of people gonna switch up and fold up in that day when they see that they can't get food, water, groceries, they can't travel, they can't go certain places because their social credit score is too low. You're gonna see people change up real quick, man. People all the faithless gonna change up real quick, gonna start praising this society, praising whoever's the president at the time. You know what I'm saying? All this, that, and the third. It's changing their stances real quick. You're gonna see a lot of truthers, so-called truthers, who become believers in this society all of a sudden. When they see that, you know, that they're using this social credit system, that this is a real system set in place, and if you are not lockstep in with them, man, you have no access, you have no way to get resources out of this society, man, to get the basic necessities that you need to live out of this society. You know, like I said, ultimately, like I'm gonna keep saying, that's gonna come in the form of the chip ultimately marking that. But even right now, before the chip is on the scene, they're gonna use that social credit system to see, you know, who's on the way to take the chip or not. Because basically, if you're not on the way to take the chip, they want to you know, get you out of there before that time even comes, because they view that's less people they got to convince. You know, they want to get you out of there. So don't be surprised when this comes, because it's coming very quickly. But I want to end off going back to that 2 Thessalonians. Because they're going to that man of sin, you know, actually being revealed. And this is the mystery of iniquity, man. I'm going to go to verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, who the Lord shall consume with that spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. That Satan is going to the adversary, man, and that adversary ultimately is that beast, man. Is that God of this society, being Pan, the Baphomet, Baal, whatever you want to call that entity. You know what I'm saying? That on the T God, you know, that is that wicked being revealed who they worship, and the tenets, you know, of that God that they worship, and then working on that behalf. and trying to implement that same spirit onto you. And one of the ways they're doing that is trying to, and like it's not like Esau. It's not a negotiation process with Esau Edom. It's you worship us or you go or you perish or you have to. You can't be in our world. You can't be in our society. And that's when that wicked is going to be revealed. Because right now they're playing nice, and that time is coming down. That time is wavering too. Because now they start to mandate that jab. But that's, they're playing nice. They're talking about it's for your benefit. They use the Joe Biden, hope and change, and we're all gonna come together and all that. But us in the truth, we already knew that him saying that the nation got to come together. I just meant the nation underneath the beast, man. That's all that meant. And they starting to roll out the systems that they want to implement, and with the social credit system is one of them, man. So this is coming real quick. You just gotta be prudent and be watchful and be under prayer, man. All right, that's all I want to get in this article. All right, so with that, I just want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kakwadash. Lord, what this lesson was edifying for the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom, Babah, keep the faith.